Recently, I was thinking about the notion itself of having fun while painting. This was one of those times where I was just kind of thinking and my brain started going down a rabbit hole. And I was considering kind of the concept of having fun and when I have the most fun while painting. And I was also kind of wondering about the future of that for me personally and if it will always be this fun, if I'm always going to get so much joy out of just the act of painting. So I kind of started to break this down into pieces, like the different purposes for painting. And the main one for me is just painting whatever I want. Just painting for fun, purely for the entertainment value of it, not worrying about any aspect of it, and frankly, not really caring about what the end result looks like. That the impact of having something that I'm perhaps less than satisfied with, that impact is minimal. That ultimately it doesn't really matter if it's like perfect or, does the end result look as I intended it when I started the piece. Ultimately it doesn't matter because I'm painting for myself. That's kind of the main purpose of my painting. I would say probably even like 95% of the paintings that I do are just simply like it's Saturday morning and I feel like painting and I'm just going to have some fun. So usually the subject is either a stock photo image person or kind of like another attempt at painting something I've previously done, like trying to put a new spin on it, or maybe I'll generate like an AI subject, like model, and just paint from that or something like that. So usually it's kind of one of those scenarios. So again, ultimately, if it's something like that, if I'm just going to keep the thing in the end, and it's not even really a real person that I'm painting, then it doesn't really matter what it looks like. The painting I have on screen is a good example of that. This was just an AI generated image. At least the reference photo was an AI generated person. So the person's not real. Doesn't really matter what it looks like. Again, it's just for fun. So this is a perfect example of that, of when I'm having the most fun painting. Just going for it. Just diving in, throwing colors on there, experimenting. I think the experimentation is a lot of the fun of this, because so much of painting is new to me, especially sort of color theory and color matching and trying to navigate subtleties. That stuff is really new. It's like a new frontier for me, especially since I don't really have any like formal training. This is like the frontier almost. So it's fun. But it's not the only purpose that I paint for. I do sometimes, I haven't done a whole bunch of them, but I do sometimes do commissions. And those, when I do them, obviously I'm a lot more worried about what the end result looks like. It does matter what the likeness looks like. Like I'll have somebody will send me a couple of reference photos, like just photos that they took of this person that they want a portrait of. And it's usually someone that they care about. It could be, their parent or their child or whatever. And so it's important that I try to make it look as close as possible to the real person. Now, I like doing it, otherwise I wouldn't accept them commissions, but it does start to feel a little more like work, and there is some pressure involved with that. Again, I don't want to make it sound like a black or white situation where, it's fun or not fun. This is still enjoyable, but it is definitely less fun than the freewheeling paint for myself type situation. Because again, doesn't matter what the other one looks like, but commission, I got to try to get it as close as I can. And to be perfectly frank, I'm not quite there yet skill-wise. Like, I'm not able to do a photo perfect recreation of a person. I can usually get it pretty close. I can get the person to be recognizable, but that's something where there is definitely some pressure that gets applied there to some degree. So another thing that I occasionally do, I do it a lot less now than when I first started, but sometimes I'll try to do like a fan art type thing where maybe I'm trying to paint a musician or maybe an actor or a movie character or something. Like an example is Mike Patton from Faith No More and some other bands. I've tried to paint him a couple of times, and the first one was terrible, and I've done a couple that are a little better, but I've still not ever done a great likeness of him. And that's kind of a thing where the activity was still enjoyable, it was fun, but I think at my sort of middle skill and experience level, there's some added pressure there to get it right that I put on myself, that I'm not quite there to where I can really get it accurate. So I feel like those things are a little less fun to me. The entire concept is pretty interesting to me, just that there are certain types and certain modes of painting that are just more fun to me inherently. And I kind of feel like for now that's probably just going to be reality for me. I wonder if as I get better, because I have gotten better over the last year and a half, I think. I can see improvement, but I think I wonder if as I get better, am I going to feel better about doing those other types, those commissions or the fan art or whatever? Are those things going to be more fun to me because I see better results and there's less pressure because I'm more easily able to reproduce a likeness? Will that make it more enjoyable? I'm not really sure. I do plan to keep at it, to keep after this hobby. So certainly I hope I get to see that in the next, year or two, maybe, as I keep going with it. But yeah, overall, I definitely have the most fun painting when it's just a completely freewheeling situation and there's no pressure on me. There's really nothing to worry about, and it's fun to see. And it's just kind of fun to see where these things go. Like in the painting I have on screen right now, this is one that actually was, how I intended. It turned out pretty close to that. So sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. Like a detour from what I intended is even kind of a good thing in some ways, in some situations. It's just kind of a nice surprise that comes from something. So those are kind of my thoughts on all that, how worrying about likeness sometimes puts pressure on, and not worrying about a likeness is sometimes even more fun. So I'd love to hear anyone's thoughts on this if they have any. Certainly drop me a comment if this sparked some thoughts for you as well. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you for the next one.